Hi, guys. How's it going?
Happy Faz Friday. Hello, Nick. Hello, Dominique.
Oh, what? No, we have a
8-bit
comment here.
attendees.
Let's do this 8-bit Tendy comment right here. He was first.
Oh, yeah. He was first.
I want to make sure we got that in there. And Gala
8-bit
Node guys
Tendies is an awesome guy. He's really involved on the Gala music side. So we have some topics dealing with Gala music tonight that we'll talk about. So it'll be interesting to hear when our guest gets into Gala music what 8-bit has to say.
All right. I'm just popping through all these comments right here. So we got an interesting guest on. His name is Gala Node Guide, and he has his own podcast channel. Hopefully we will be linking that somewhere in here, sir.
I have links, but I like a dumbass, I didn't put his channel on there. I'll do that.
All right. So Shan ready is last. All right. So we're going to work him into our sporadic access memory podcast here. And let's see if I can find the button for him. Hello, Mr. Gala Node Guide. He is shaped like a lumberjack. Is that what he looks like?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Does my makeup look okay?
Yeah, I'm glad that you did the breath mint though, because that really helps.
Oh yeah, especially with my mouth open like that.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
His beard looks way better than yours, just so you know.
And yours. Take me like a
beard.
month.
This is pure lazy. I just shave once a week, so I shave on Saturdays. So it's Friday now, so this is a 6-day just laziness.
All right. So so we got a number of things to talk about today. Did we come up with a schedule, sir? Do we know what we're going to do first? We're going to talk about bugs now or later?
It's totally up to you. As you know, we don't schedule anything with this show. It's generally just kind of what comes up. We have a general idea of what we want to talk about, and we let the conversation flow. Right. I really do think we should probably start off with the Gala music side, though, because Gala Node Guide, in our pre figuring this out kind of deal, he seemed extra passionate about Gala music, at least in the communications in our special channel there. So I think we should probably start with that. And we haven't talked about Gala music in a very long time anyway.
No, there's been some stuff going on with Gala music lately too. How about we want to let Gala Node Guide start with that?
Well, yeah, because you just talked to somebody from there not too long ago. I remember you
I did. I don't want to reveal that person's name, but I might be able to get an interview from this person.
Yeah, so that is a hot topic. So, Gala Node Guide, walk us into your thoughts on Gala music.
I will do that in just a second, but why don't I walk into who the heck is this guy anyway? Because some people here know me, some people don't. Some people know my totally separate identity for Discord. Other people don't. I like to keep things separate. I like my privacy.
So we all know you're liking, so don't even.
Oh, right, because I totally sound like Lycan. Yeah, right.
You can change your voice. You know, we can't see you.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Gala Node Guide. I've been involved with Gala for a very long time. I think Faz beats me by like maybe a couple of months, if that. Just a little, yeah, Faz, you rock it. And so anyway, so when I was looking into, I first came in, excited about Miranda's. Just like everybody else. I mean, Mirandus was like, oh my God, I'm going to like have this be my life when it comes out. And this is the coolest idea ever. So I bought a bunch of Miranda stuff and then started looking into nodes. And I realized there wasn't really any information about nodes. And I was asking everybody, I was asking, even like asking Bitbender and stuff. And they're like, well, there's not really a thing about, so I just So I went, you know what? I'm just going to collect a bunch of information and throw it together. And then I went, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should just do a video. So I did a video for like non-technical people for how to set up a node on a VPS. Like I even did it like on Windows instead of Linux, so that people could figure out, what they need to do. And I was like the first person who did this. So, and I wasn't planning on doing like a channel or anything. I just wanted to do one video. But it was so incredibly popular that I was just like, okay, I guess I can make a channel out of this thing. So I did. And that was that. So yeah. And I've been involved with Gala and a whole bunch of other projects ever since. So that's me.
All right. So I'm showing your page here, your YouTube page, of your videos here. Apparently, you did is Miranda's Doom just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
interesting animation.
That was a sad video. I wish I didn't have to make that one because, like, man, I don't know what Gala's thinking.
You don't have to tell me. I'm a big Miranda's NFT guy. However, there is a segue here, Mr. Titan. If we could do a slight segue, that would be Bodhi. Bodhi.
Why are you segueing there?
Where's the Bodhi screen? Here it is. Here it is.
Oh my God!
Because
you're all over the place.
Bodhi is going to be airdropped to on May 6th to Miranda's NFT holders. Am I correct?
No.
It's not going to be airdropped to Miranda's NFT holders.
It's going to be airdropped to anyone who holds a Miranda's NFT. That's correct, but I think that's on the 10th.
Oh, on the 10th? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So they open up sales by Bodhi on May 6th, and then later, when the airdrop happens, then that will be on May 10th-ish, according to you.
Right. And there's a special whitelist for Bodhi, and to get on that whitelist to buy it tomorrow, and you'll have 2 days of pre-sale, and to get on that whitelist, you have to have at least one Miranda's NFT in the wallet that you're purchasing with. So I'll say that again. You have to have one Miranda's NFT in your wallet that you're buying from, and this is going to be on the base network. We're getting info a little bit late, unfortunately, but there's going to be a video tutorial on how to get your assets over to base. And I'll be around after the show. If you want to go into the FazRadio channel, I can walk you through how to do that. I have a couple extra NFTs for Miranda's for people who may not have them. If you need something quick, there's a couple of us community members who are willing to help out so that you can have a Miranda's NFT in your wallet and get 2 days to where you can buy some Bodhi. The idea behind Bodhi is it's completely a meme coin, which means there's no utility for expected whatsoever. If people want to make utility for it, great. But the purpose is to take in the Make Miranda's Great Again Discord, which the link is in the show notes already. It's the former Miranda's devs, and they want to put together a game that is on par with Miranda's. And in order to do that, they need to get paid because people don't work for free, right? So that is primarily what this is about. It's about saying fuck you to centralization and letting people do what they need to do the right way. So there's all kinds of information. I have links on all that in the show notes already. So if you want to get in on Bodhi, you may get totally smashed in this. You could make some money. It could be just, who knows? But don't expect that this is going to be something where you're going to walk in with $10 and come out with $1.2 million. All right. This is primarily to say, go jump to centralization and what kind of transpired. The full story is at bodymcboatface.xyz, and it's an actual thing that happened. And it's akin to what happened with the Spider Tanks naming, where the community wanted Spider Tanks to be named Shooty Booms, which I still to this day, I get pissed when that happens.
Let's slow down. So Gala Games had asked, or they're putting out Spider Tanks, and they'd asked the community, hey, we would like you to help name this game. And so they had this spreadsheet that they were putting together, and they were voting on names, and people were just putting the names in the Discord. And after a while, Shooty Booms rose to the top of the list. And at a certain point, once it ended, they're like, oh, we don't want Shooty Booms. And so they picked another one. That's exactly what happened with Bodie McBoatface. So if we go back a number of years, the UK was launching a new scientific research ship. And they had 3 names. One was I don't know, they're named after scientists or explorers or something like that. And one of them, somebody had done a write-in. You could write in any name. Somebody put Bodie McBoatface. And everybody went ape shit nuts over that name. And then, they won the contest by a landslide. And then the UK decided, no, we're not going to do that. That would be silly. And then they chose what was that guy who does the nature specials? I think it was named after him. So they named the boat after somebody else. And then after the outcry, there's a big outcry. They decided to name a little submersible Bodie McBoatface, but that just wasn't the same. No. And so I'm still pissed off about Bodie McBoatface because they would have gotten this. This was going to be a top of the line scientific research vessel. And that would have been so much wonderful marketing for that boat. I mean, what a way to make science more fun is to name the boat something silly that everybody could follow and kids could love and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
So absolutely. Yeah. So if you need help with that, hit us up in CFA CryptoFaz Academy Discord. We can walk you through anything that you need to do to get prepped for that. Or you can just sit back and with your popcorn and watch it go.
I mean, to be fair with Gala, they did say up front, we want you to vote on ideas, not that, we're going to name it Shooty Booms if that's what you vote for.
It was voted Shooty Booms. That's that's what decentralization is, sir.
No, okay, yes. Wait a minute.
Yes, but they never said we're going to name it what you guys vote.
And that is completely true. And that's something that I've argued with Titan for a long time. Is they wanted to be influenced. They wanted help picking a name, but they never said that. Not like Bodie McBoatface. They had said we were going to name it whatever wins this contest. Gala didn't go that far, but I want to be clear about it. It was always a heavy suggestion, but people really did feel denied about that.
And you know what? Since you're developing games, Faz, you're going to make a game. I'm going to make sure of it. That is called Shooty Booms, and we're gonna make that dream a reality one way or another.
Okay, so yeah, there's so many tiny little games to do. That anyway, great segue, sir, and I'll go through my game pretty quick.
See how I did that? You see how I did that?
Bodie floats. I just want to see these memes here really quick. Wanted node NFTs missed Bodie. Don't miss the Bodie. I like big Bodie and I cannot lie. Okay.
That might be my favorite.
So speaking of Bodie, we have this thing. When I do, so I have this actually right now at games.zipbugs.com. For those of you watching, you might want to take a look at it. Let's full screen this so you can see the score. I just started a week or two ago, putting together this small application. Because as a test, because I want to make a ZipBugs card game, and I'm learning Unity, and so I've been making a simple game at first to get used to how Unity does things. And I'm glad I did actually, because I've run into more than a few issues, which you'll see here when I demonstrate it. So I came up with kind of a Flappy Bird clone, but it's starting to kind of turn into its own thing. Flappy Bird never went that far, so this has more features already than Flappy Bird. So I was going to name it like Flappy Bug, but it wasn't right anymore. And I want if you have ZipBug NFTs, I want you to be able to unlock features in this. Anyway, and then Bodhi came out. Well, it's coming out, and I'm like, I want to support the Bodhi people too. So that's my plan. Is I would like to integrate Bodhi in this game to where, I don't know, maybe you hold Bodhi in your wallet that you'll unlock a feature or two in this game. So maybe something that can't be unlocked with a ZipBug NFT. Anyway, that's my intention and how we're tying this to Bodhi.
So rather than the Zippy Buggy coin, you're going to use Bodhi instead? There
still might be a ZipBug coin.
You could have a game have 50 God million coins. Who knows? I just want to. So the whole point of this is to practice doing blockchain stuff for my blockchain game. And yeah, I'd like to hook to multiple wallets. And I mean, I could support anything. I could say if you have a Bored Ape, you'll get a feature. And if you have a Miranda's tent, you could have a feature. If you have Bodhi McBoatface, you could have a feature. I mean, there's innumerable things you could do. They're just API calls, so it should be easy.
What's crazy is Gala used to say that they were going to do that. They said they were going to bring in NFTs from other games that weren't even Gala games, but that never happened. And they hinted, like when they did that whole Meow Match thing, they hinted about like, oh, what if you could use your CryptoKitties in a Gala game? And it's like, no, that's not exactly what is happening here at all. You cannot use CryptoKitties in Meow Match.
They should though.
Yeah, they totally
but
should.
They can't make money on it, so they don't want to.
So that's a good point. Why is there a reason to support other games? I would think you do it to draw in those fans. So I mean, for me, it would be, well, if you have $5 at Bodhi or something, you could do a feature. That would be a way to draw in the fans. But if you already have a fan base, I bet they were saying that before they had a fan base. If you already have a fan base, how many fans are you going to draw in? Is it really worth it? So, I mean, a lot of this is run by business too. That's why I'm also saying, I don't know. This sounds like something that would be neat. I'd really like to do that. So there is that. There's just realities. And I think it's very likely I'll get this in because I don't really see it being that hard. And I don't expect a billion fans from ZipBugs unless some Hollywood studio picks them up. Then I'm all for it.
I remember the Fuzzles team actually saying, the original Fuzzles team actually saying, oh yeah, we're totally somebody's going to make a cartoon out of this and we're going to all be gazillionaires or something like that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, so it's worth mentioning with all of these games, people, and Gala did it too, and this is what people are really ignoring. Gala has told you what they want to do during this whole thing. They haven't said we were, for a lot of features out there, they haven't said we're definitely going to do this. They've said we'd like to do this. What do you think? Well, then that becomes a promise. So there's many different ways that they have promises and types of promises. And then, of course, when you have multiple employees, some employees interpret something as a promise that isn't. I think they really dug their own grave by being very open and speculative on every single thing they're doing without having the community being a voting member of what they're doing.
I'm gonna have to take the other side of this because there was numerous things, especially with regards to partnerships, where Gala actually did like press releases for we're gonna do this with such and such company, and it never happened. I mean,
that makes sense.
Partnerships. They announced partnerships with Flare. They said that as part of that Gala Nodes were going to become part of the FTSO system within the Flare network.
And then the partnership fell apart. The partnership fell apart. And that happens with regular everyday companies. The Nike shoe company has a partnership with a basketball player. Basketball player says something off color, and then bam, that basketball player is not part of their partnership anymore. I think the difference is you're seeing a lot more fragile partnerships being announced and then revoked. And then they don't even revoke them. They just get real quiet about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, how many times has Gala changed something and just kind of not said anything, and they just kind of let everybody assume that things are going like a best example of this is like they said in 2021 that they sold 3 Mirandus Citadels, and when the first one sold, it was actually like on the blockchain, like you could see there's a transaction for 800,000 USDC for this, Citadel NFT. When the second one happened, there was no transaction, and people were like, well, what is it? What's the deal? Where's the transaction? And they're like, oh, well, hemming and hawing and saying, oh, well, it'll come soon. And of course it never came. And then they supposedly sold another Citadel to the Flare network. And
yeah, they even talked about it. It's a Moon Citadel, wasn't it?
Yeah, Citadel of the Moon. I even made a video about it. I was like, I think if I remember correctly, the video was like Gala plus Flare equals Moon or something like that. So, but it turns out with the Austin thing, people found out that they only sold one Citadel. Only the first Citadel sale actually went through, the one that was on the blockchain. The other two totally fell apart. But of course, Gala led us to believe that they had sold 3 when they don't. I like to mention
that other businesses do this too. But again, I think they plan their marketing strategy a little bit better. And it seems that like the very moment that a handshake happens, even a behind closed doors handshake with something, I would like that Flare Citadel, they announce it as if it's just rock solid. And I think that they get like this understanding that this is what we're going to do. And then they announce it because, of course, it's going to make Flare look bad because people are going to continually ask Flare, where's your Citadel? Where's your Citadel? Turns out people didn't care or probably didn't care on the Flare side. But they're like, oh, you got some game thing, right? Some expensive game thing. And they'd be like, nah. So, I can see what they're doing and why they're doing, but I really don't agree that it's a way that it doesn't work out too well as I started this, if you start telling everybody what you're doing every step of the way, it becomes harder and harder and harder to kind of support that.
Oh yeah, it totally can bite you in the rear.
So I'm happy to share things about my zip bugs, but I'm not giving dates. Are you crazy? I'll tell you once something is out there and once it's playable, but I'm not going to say I'm going to have this by next week, especially while it's not making me any money. If it makes me money, well, I'd probably be even more cautious about dates.
So perfect segue there. So after some conversations, with how this is rolling out, keep your eye on the ZipBug discussion channel in Crypto Faz Academy's Discord, because the things are kind of coming together with how this game is going to come out. Faz is going to start looking for some testers, and there'll be some things that he's kind of churning around that I think people will like.
I'm looking to integrate with some other projects out there. Now, this is a really simple game, really simple application. It's not complicated. This Flappy Bird itself took like 2 days to make. So, I mean, this is really quick and easy to make. But my goal is I'm using this as a practice to connect up to Web3 technologies. Oh, what'd you do?
I don't know. I can't find the windows that were here.
Okay.
Used to be here. There we go. All right.
So my goal is to connect to all these different Web3 technologies with a very simple game. And I want to use what's out there. And I want to see how usable it is and playable it is, so that I can come back on this show and say, oh my God, I tried to connect to such and such blockchain and it's like crap. It just, everything is late and it takes forever for a transaction to go through. Couldn't integrate that in the game. Now, what's funny is you'll hear the same thing about, Gala Games will say, we want to integrate with X blockchain. Oh, sorry, we have to wait months and months and months for this to connect and for this to work. Fuck that noise. If I can't do it, I'm not going to show it. I'm going to be like, well, I that's why I'm not saying who I'm going to integrate with right now, because they're still working some stuff out. But if I can, I'm definitely going to show it. And I actually want to see things that are currently existing and currently working that I can integrate with. So that's my goal before I do my ZipBugs card game, which admittedly is getting pushed out further and further as I'm exploring the different technologies.
Yeah, remember when Gala said they were going to be chain agnostic back in the early days? They're like, oh yeah, we'll work with all the chains. Yeah, that changed a bit.
So that's another good
expensive. Because each chain probably has its way of working. It's each chain may have lag. One chain might have lag and another one doesn't, or they want to use a chain in a certain way. Gala burned itself a lot by distributing NFTs on Ethereum right as the run up began, and then they started paying just incredibly huge fees, airdropping things to people. That's why I think Bodhi is on the Base blockchain, is because the fees to use Base is through the floor. By the way, it's an L2 blockchain. So when you say you need to, I'm curious about what you're saying about your assets need to be on Base. I'd need to know more about that, because it might. I know that it facilitates Ethereum transactions. That's what Base does. It makes that easy.
It's the same as Polygon Slantmatic, right? It's the same thing. You bridge your tokens over, and they're on the Base layer. That's how it works.
So you will need to bridge Miranda's assets?
No. They're checking on the Ethereum chain. Your money to purchase needs to be on the Base chain.
Okay, good. That's
the
fine.
NFT.
It has to be USDC. They won't take Ethereum or Gala or anything like that.
According to the website, it says the transaction will take place in USDC.
Okay. Yeah. The Base blockchain, by the way, is something that Coinbase put together for an L2
Correct.
blockchain. So it will have a fair amount of support, for the foreseeable future.
Right. And so we got so far off topic. 27 minutes ago, we were going to talk about Gala music. So Gala Node Guide, walk us through your thoughts on Gala music and get everybody here caught up to speed on your thoughts on where things are. And I'm sure 8-Bit will probably jump in and have a few comments here. But a lot has changed and a lot has not changed. And we've heard rumors. Of course, we don't have the full story, which is another reason I'm hoping to hear kind of your take on this. We've heard stories that things will be changing. And is that a good thing or not a good thing?
Depends on what they change. Just in the past week, they've been making a lot of changes. And most of those changes look pretty good. After a whole lot of nothing, all of a sudden they're finally doing some stuff. They've got a new channel in the Gala Music Discord called Music Utility Daily, and supposedly they're releasing, every single day, making the music token more useful and better and whatever. And so far, some days are better than others. Today, I haven't even seen this yet, but today, apparently the music token is now on GalaSwap. So that's kind of one of those it's about time type things. Apparently there was some, you know how a Gala chain actually is like kind of like a collection of chains, like each game has its own channel, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
So music was on a totally different channel than most of the other tokens, which is why they were having a little bit more of a heavier lift in order to put the music token into GalaSwap. But as of a few hours ago, it looks like it's on there. I haven't had a chance to test it out yet, but it was announced, 3 hours ago.
So, Mr. Gala Node Guide, I have a question here. I posted up on the screen. I was hanging out on the CryptoFaz Discord the other day, and Bitbender was on, and it sounded like he was throwing some shade at Gala Music. Do you know anything about that?
No, I didn't see that. I know that Bitbender's kind of had this on again, off again thing with Gala Music. Like originally he was saying something along the lines of like, "Oh, they don't want me in the Discord," but that was back when Bucks was still around. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not even allowed in the Gala Music Discord." And then there was that whole fiasco with the whole thing of Gala Music announcing that they were going to use the music token for gas on Gala Chain. And of
that
course,
was a nightmare.
And of course, that was the exact opposite of what Gala Games was saying. And here's and we're asking questions to the quote unquote president of blockchain, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what Gala is doing." It's like, well, wait a minute. So you're telling me that the president of blockchain for Gala, or for Gala Chain, really doesn't have any influence over what the gas token is for Gala Chain? Really? That's kind of weird. But,
he had a long conversation on CryptoFaz about what his job definition was. And he's president of blockchain. And I asked him, what does the president of blockchain do? And he explained that he was kind of an advisor for economies and blockchain stuff. But a lot of stuff was really vague, and a lot of stuff that's been going on that people have had problems with, what, for example, Mirandus and all these other games, he doesn't have any control over, which would make sense if he's just working with economies.
Yeah. So, but Bitbender's involvement with Gala Music changed completely when Bucks went bye-bye. Suddenly, Bitbender was, super involved in Gala Music, but now not so much. Although supposedly he's got some input on this new white paper that was supposed to be released, quote unquote, next week, 3 months ago. It's always next week. I don't know what it is with white papers. Gala can't seem to release a white paper on time. They really need to stop pre-announcing things like, "Oh, we're going to do this next week," and then next week it doesn't happen. Just wait until the thing comes out. Just shut up.
I think that's really painting yourself into a corner. I mean, if you're setting yourself up for disappointing people, if you have a lot of people that put a lot of money into your products, and I'm not calling them ownership of Gala Games. I'm just calling the NFTs Gala products. If you own a lot of Gala products, all they're doing is shopping around vaporware. But I can understand they might have a goal. They should say, we have a goal for next week. And then if they want to be honest and transparent, they could say, "Oh, this was the problem. This was a problem. We're going to have to push that off till next month because we ran into an issue accessing APIs for here," or whatever.
Yeah, and the only team within Gala that actually did that was Mirandus, but the original Mirandus team, of course. The rest just kind of like, when they didn't meet a deadline, they just pretended that the deadline didn't exist. But anyway, okay. Enough about this. Let's get back to music. We're going to talk about music.
It says here, Bitbender was apparently not allowed to touch the music side. If he comments on economies, did he have something to do with the whole Beam to music token business?
I honestly don't know. All I know is that he was involved for about a month after Bucks left. And then he kind of disappeared back into the shadows.
So I'm unusually quiet here, but I do. Yeah. So this is what I've argued with you about incessantly, right? If Brink decides he's going to be in charge of economies and the blockchain, he should not be jumping into these other game discords. He should not be jumping into the music discord. He needs to stay in his lane then, because all he ends up doing is walking himself backwards when he'll say, "I don't know anything about that." And then another lawsuit paper comes out, like the one from Spider Tanks, which he makes a statement that's 14 bullet points long about what an expert he is on spider tanks. So you can't have it both ways. You either are fully integrated or you're not. And This is what's causing a lot of the frustration in the community, is just pick something and do it. And we had this discussion over Christmas time. If you remember that cast that we did.
Oh yeah.
When I said,
Yeah,
listen, you've got to stay in your lane. If you're in charge of blockchain, you shouldn't be talking about music. If you're in charge of blockchain, you should not be dealing with spider tanks. That's just the way it is, because you have to be held accountable somewhere. And that's why I think he was so vague with you when you were calling him out and saying, what is it that you actually do? Because he doesn't want to pigeonhole himself into one little thing, because then he looks stupid if he's commenting on something that isn't his thing.
Well, didn't he? Okay, so if he's in charge of blockchain, I would think that would be, let's just say, anything Gala chain. Music is on Gala chain, and the Silk is on Gala chain.
No. So again, that's too vague. That isn't what it's about, right? And the big epiphany that came out of that I gathered, and it was right in the chat. He typed it himself, right? When he talked about how the economy was designed for when Town flipped into Gala, when they did the swap. He said, I was on the road driving my car, and Eric and some other people were on the phone, and we just decided that's when it was going to happen. That's irresponsible as hell. Are you kidding me? This decision was made in 30 seconds with no forethought into the long-term consequences, but people are supposed to trust them, right?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Hey, your guest has a comment.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, except for the part where you said something about the town economy being designed. I don't think there was any design to the town economy.
Oh, hell no. Just pay people tokens and keep them quiet. I think that's what the.
So even after all this time, it's still not designed?
I don't think so. I mean, is there any earnings on?
There isn't. There's no earnings whatsoever. You win contests.
I believe there's earnings if you win a contest.
Oh,
that's technically play to earn.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the actual, what the replacement of the earning for your NFTs and town coins for these things that people paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for and then got totally rugged. I'm still trying to figure out, but by the way, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly someone is supposed to get $350,000 worth of fun by placing a legendary Tesla coil in their town. I haven't figured out how that's supposed to work yet.
No, we can point this question directly at Faz. How are you going to get what you paid for your EOE planet? How much fun?
Oh my God.
How long is that going to take you to have fun with an Echoes of Empire planet?
I lucked out because I bought a lot of Gala early, and I bought those NFTs with all these Gala winnings, so to speak. And so technically I paid a lot of money, but I got a lot more money from my Gala stuff. So the good news is I'm not in the hole. The bad news is a lot of other people are. I hope nobody mortgaged their house or anything to get an NFT.
Yeah, that would be stupid.
Yeah.
Although some people, they don't have that self-control. They just kind of they're just gambling addicts, and they're gambling with NFTs.
Well, all right. So there's a huge debate. We can do a 4-hour show on this. I have no doubt, right? But at the same time, you have people on CFA. There was a great conversation. It was on Thursday afternoon, and one of the community members was reminding people that nobody forced you to buy these NFTs, right? And you're the dumbass who spent, $125,000 on a hash for this NFT.
Wrong. That's not wrong.
Right? So I can see that. However, you have to remember also whether, and we can debate this one. This is a whole show in itself, debating whether or not it was on purpose or on accident that Gala paid out all those town coin, right? To bait people into seeing, hey, you can earn 4,200 town coin a day, and that's $2 a town coin. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
You
earned
know,
shitloads for of town a day.
Right.
I think I paid for a lot of all my NFTs.
So one can argue that when they saw those types of earnings, they had no qualms at all about spending $10,000 on their next NFT because they thought this is how this is going to work. So there's always two sides to the coin here.
Remember the first bit of heroin is free.
I mean, the original way that Gala was pricing the Townstar NFTs, if you did the quote unquote math, and they changed the prices accordingly, they had I think it was like a 60 or 70 day ROI. If the token price held steady, which of course it didn't. And they would adjust the prices based on that. Of course, they never took them down. They would always go up.
I have a folder, and in that folder is a shit ton of screenshots. And in that screenshot, there is a extraordinarily senior green name Gala executive who, in Discord, public Discord, put out a statement that said something along the lines of, we will never change this. If you've bought this NFT, then you're always going to earn at least this, and yada, yada, yada. And I've posted it up on one of our old shows probably 2 years ago. And that created a huge kerfuffle. But this is why they've done this to themselves. And then they turn around and complain and say, why are you guys telling us that, we never promised you anything? Bullshit. I have the screenshots that prove it. Even though it's not in Discord now, potentially, because there was a hack a while back, and mysteriously a lot of these messages just never made it back onto the backup copy. Yeah, it was terrible coincidence. But a lot of us in the community, I screenshotted fucking everything. Right. And so I have this folder with thousands of screenshots in there. And when they try and gaslight people into saying, oh, we never said that, we never promised that, we're able to bring that out. And Old Man Smithers is doing his Gala series, and it's taken him forever because 21 was a huge year. 21, 22, they were huge for a lot of the stuff that went sideways. And this ecosystem, as I segue, because we've been beating a dead horse on this one, the ecosystem has responded. We said, and it came out here on FazRadio, we talked about 2023 was the year of show me, right? Show me what you've got.
Show us a darn thing, did they?
And they didn't. They didn't show us anything, and they had roadmaps and everything. But
they put some things out. They probably didn't follow their roadmaps, but they did put some things out.
Let me segue here.
One or two things that were on the first quarter roadmap made it into the entire year. I don't think the second, third, or fourth quarter roadmap.
Remember, they had resisted roadmaps. They had resisted roadmaps for years,
which is smart. Which is smart. They should.
Oh my God! Titan was beside himself. Why don't these guys put out a roadmap? What are they trying to hide? And I'm like, this is the best thing they could do. They better not promise what they're gonna. When they're going to put something out. This shit takes years.
So, can I finish my segue now?
No.
Obviously not.
You've had the bully pulpit for long enough.
This will open up a lot of discussion between the two of you.
So remember like half an hour ago when we said we were going to talk about Gala music?
We did talk about Gala music. But, so listen. So, the year of Show Me ended, and we were underwhelmed massively. But here's where the shift happened. The shift happened with Moff and the GG Collective. They've decided to take it into their own hands and make the assets that Gala had created worth something by creating their own platforms and integrating what people had spent money on in the Gala ecosystem, they're turning that into reality now. Faz is doing the same thing with integrating some of the things that are already out there into the games. So if they can't do it, the community will. At Gala, I've been referring to them as customers. I don't think there's a community anymore with Gala. It's customers. They bought and sold. It was a transaction. It didn't work out. Okay, so walk away. Forget about Gala. Let's move forward with what we have. And the GG Collective and Faz and the MOF and a couple of these other community-led things like Fuzzles is now community-driven, right? Let the community deal with it. Take your time, your energy, and your money and put it towards people who are passionate, who have spent, in some cases, millions of dollars in this ecosystem. And we have groups of people who are now doing things and showing us what can be done. So I would suggest you move in that direction. You don't have to. It's just my opinion. I think that's where this is going to end up.
Oh, Zorro's saying something, taking a shot at you here.
They have to, Zorro. They have to finish it because Gala's not doing it. They are absolutely not doing it.
What I'd like to see is like the GG Collective and other groups do such a good job that they quote unquote shame Gala into doing better. Like basically like, hey, Gala, we delivered on all the promises you didn't. And Gala goes, oh crap, maybe we should actually deliver on some of this stuff.
Yeah, like that's going to work. Okay, come on.
It was wishful thinking. I mean, come on. We all bought into this. We all thought that Gala was serious when they said that they were going to release AAA games. Is there a single AAA game that Gala has released?
I see this going a slightly different way. I don't think people should shame Gala. I think if you really want to show them up in what they're doing, take control of their assets, which means if you have a game, let's just say it's similar to Mirandus or something, and you want to support those people that invested in Mirandus, then say, hey, if you're a Mirandus NFT, you can have something similar in this game. Now, of course, you can't show the image that's on the NFT, and you probably can't use the name, but you can say, if you have a Mirandus tent, you can have something similar in our game. And that's when you take the NFTs away from them. If they won't use their NFTs properly, then you do. And then people will want that NFT for the other game, not for yours.
Wait, you mean interoperability?
Well, it'd be nice if somebody did it.
Oh, wow. I guess I've been influencing people because I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but
Q-Valpo?
Bought into Gala because of Gala Node Guide. So,
hey.
I don't know whether to thank you or apologize to you.
Right? Little of both, maybe.
So,
well, I'm here because of Faz. Faz dragged me into this mess.
So it's all Faz's fault. Got it.
It is. Okay. 100%.
Sort of. Actually, Titan's kind of come into his own on this show. There are Titan fans and there are Faz fans, and that's fine. What I want to see is I want to see all these different people working together. I want to see GG Collective working with Seed Starter, working with the Make Mirandus Great Again Discord, working with the MOF, working with me, working with other. I want to see all of us get together and pool our efforts. Now we can keep going with our projects, but we can also integrate in with each other, and that's how you win.
Isn't that already happening?
Yes, it is.
Already GG Collective has been picking up some stuff, and I've actually been reading stuff on their Discord about them possibly partnering with the Make Mirandus Great Again people.
Yep. That's it. So I was at some of the original meetings that they had, a couple of years ago.
It was a while ago.
GG Collective, it was something else. And they're trying to make a DAO, and GG Collective is still going to be a DAO. And so it's evolved over time. And so each of us that went there, we agreed that we were going to, push this concept. And I'm seeing more things starting to congeal together. I wish I could have gotten involved sooner, but my life got a bit busy for about a year and a half. But I'm just starting up with my little simple Flappy Bug game, and I want to start connecting into everything they have, just to test the ecosystem out to see if it works.
Yeah, I absolutely love what GG Collective has been doing. I've been following that for quite a long time.
Oh, and don't forget Nerd Node. Should we talk a little bit about Nerd Node?
Oh, you want Gala Node Guide to talk about nodes?
Yeah, that's why you're here, right? 50 minutes into the cast here. Yeah, we'd like to hear something about nodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can talk about nodes. I could talk about nodes. Yeah, we've already heard all the stories about, how Gala suddenly went from the absolutely amazing founders nodes to 1,000,000,001 different nodes that don't really do anything. But you know what? Actually, they're finally starting to have some nodes that do real work. Film launched a few weeks ago, and that actually caused a problem because the beta of the film node. So a handful of us were testing out the beta for them, right, about 2 weeks before the launch. And suddenly people were getting notices from their VPS providers that you've used all your bandwidth, or you've used 90% of your bandwidth in 2 weeks. So basically it's oh crap, wait a minute. This is crazy. The nodes are actually doing real work. Now it turns out there was actually a bug in the thing that was causing it to use way more bandwidth than it should. But even so, I mean, we're talking about high resolution video here. Of course it's going to take up bandwidth if they're actually using the nodes properly. And that's the thing I think a lot of people just never understood was in the early days, even though Gala said, oh yeah, nodes are going to do all these different things, which they never did. The people buying them were oh, I've got a little ping machine. I can run this on a $5 VPS, or I can run this on my crappy,
all they're doing is getting money for it, getting
PC, and you could, but when these things start doing real work, those people are going to be they're either not going to be willing to upgrade to the machine's stats that they really need to do this work, or they're going to, or unwilling or unable. And then they're going to cry rug pull. They'll be oh, well, Gala suddenly raised the specs so high that the average person can't do it. It's you should have thought about this 4 years ago.
Well, I would think that those people should be able to choose their amount of their bandwidth and be rewarded appropriately. Exactly, I do not think that it would be a good idea to have a node that would just bottom out your internet connection or top out your internet connection.
And they have to create an ecosystem or a platform for that node that if the specs are going to get raised and people are going to have to pay for it, that they're able to at least offset that somehow, one way or another. So they have to make their platform valuable enough to make people want to run them. If it costs you $100 a month to run it, let's say we're truly, right, because we allude to it and we wink, nod, nod. We're helping the ecosystem. If you want to help the ecosystem,
that's why people paid $100,000
right,
to help.
And it costs you $100 a month. At least that platform has to be worth at least $50 a month in rewards somehow, in order to incentivize people to run it. They're not just going to pay $100, $200, $300 a month to support an ecosystem where they're getting nothing from it. So they have to build that ecosystem into something valuable for the people who are running those nodes.
All right. So couple questions here. I'm trying to move on rapidly to other subjects because we have a lot here. We've had this on the screen for quite a while. Hopefully, Gala Node guy could say something about spider tank nodes. But then after that, I do want to mention something about nerd node.
I'm still trying to figure out what the original plan even was for spider tanks nodes. Whatever it was, they certainly didn't deliver on it. Then again, spider tanks just didn't deliver. Period. I mean,
hey, I'm getting silk every day from my spider tank node, and I'm not even playing the game.
Yeah. I'm getting some too, and I'm even getting some from my maps. I'm getting like 3 silk a day from my, $72,000 maps.
What happened with the economy in silk? What happened with the silk economy, Mr. Gala Node guide? What happened there?
Well, I'm not the expert in spider tanks, but basically, first of all, the original economy just totally sucked. It was just total crap. And then within a few months, they changed it so that they would have higher levels, so it sucked less. But ultimately, all the things that they said they were going to do with the economy were just never implemented. I mean, all the stuff with the land/maps, these were supposed to be like things that you could, put buildings on, put factories on them that would crank out parts. These were supposed to be customizable, this, that, the other. Instead, all it was like, you click a button every day to say that you're like still there. And they give you a few silk, and that's all that ever happens.
If you want to trigger,
and pretty much that's the same thing with the nodes. You just click a button every once in a while, and you get a few silk, and that's about it.
If you want to trigger Old Man Smithers OMS, just ask him about those maps. He got so excited about those. He was wanting to know the dimensions because he was going to build out an entire map and customize it with mountains and trails and bridges and water and the whole 9 yards. That dude was off the charts excited about that, and absolutely nothing happened.
Well, what's crazy about that is like when they were first announcing and selling the Spider Tanks maps at the Galaverse 1 in Vegas, the developers themselves were saying, "Oh yeah, we're totally going to do all this stuff. It's you'll be able to customize like all the things that Old Man Smithers wanted to do." The developer said, "Yeah, we're totally want you to be able to do that stuff."
Well, then what happened? This is what I'm confused
no
about,
idea.
because they had so much going for them. Gala Games had so much going for them with their plans, and I agree. They could have been, planning too much or saying too much, but they had separate teams, and I just don't understand why the Spider Tanks team went away. And of course, there's been some infighting, and I haven't really read those legal documents. Something about the Spider Tanks people said in those legal documents that they had done every feature that was promised, but Gala had not put them out. That's what I understand.
Well, a lot of this goes in the same vein, right? And if you go to Make Mirandus Great Again and you do some reading in their Discord, the developers for Mirandus are saying the same things that you're seeing in the Spider Tank lawsuit. And what's being said is, what I've been preaching for the last few months is that Gala will say anything in order to make money and get a sale. And the Mirandus devs are saying they were making promises that they not only knew we weren't working on, but couldn't even do. It wasn't even possible. But they were saying them and putting these onuses on us that were impossible to achieve.
Okay, I'm going to have to play devil's advocate here, and I think Faz will understand what I'm saying. So let's talk about...
I know where the mute button is. That's okay.
Let's talk about quote unquote regular companies, right? How many times does the sales team from a company promise the moon, and meanwhile the tech team is like, "Wait, you told them we were going to do what?"
I've told him the same damn thing. I've told him the same damn thing for years, and Titan never gets it. I said in the last cast too.
What Gala's doing is not a quote unquote new thing. It's not a Web3 thing even. It's, this is just the way business is, unfortunately. The sales team overpromises and the tech team is like left with, wait, what? We can't even do that. What are you talking about?
I worked as a software developer for 30 years, and it's happened in virtually every damn job I've had. And Titan's acting like this is all new. No.
I'm not acting like it's new. I'm saying this is where the accountability happens. This is where the accountability happens.
All they really need to do in court, in my opinion, is just to show that they tried, or that that they've been working on it. And it's okay for things to fail, if I'm not mistaken, as long as you've shown that you're trying, or maybe that you're still trying. You could say, well, yeah, we have a developer who looks at some code once a week. And that we're still working on it. That's all you really need to say.
They look at it once a week, like they looked at the Vox team results.
I actually had that happen at a company I was working for years and years and years ago. They had hired a contractor, and they were paying this contractor like tons and tons of money to do this, special project that they didn't have the skills to do, right? And then, like, after months and months and months of this, somebody actually looked at what he'd actually developed, and it was like nothing. Like totally nothing. And it's like, how did we let this happen?
Oh my God, that happens so much. Companies, okay, I have
It's not an excuse.
I have a speech for Titan where I say software development is hard. It's hard to plan. It's hard to get the plan the features. It's hard to schedule the features. It's hard to put the stuff out. It's hard for people to get all on the same page in order to synchronize their stuff. It's hard to make deals. It's hard to work with the features. It's hard to sell the various things involved with keeping the project going. Software development is very hard. And if you're a software developer, you've seen a lot of projects just go sideways or pear-shaped, most projects, because they do some aspect wrong, marketing or developing or putting it out or support or whatever. And everywhere you go as a developer, there's always a new project that's replacing an old project that looks like ass from a couple of years ago when they didn't know what they were doing. And even then, the new project, so many people have left, you don't have enough people that knows what's going on, and it's just rinse and repeat.
That's fine, but then they have to do something about it. They have to refund people, or they have to take accountability for it somehow, or give you assets in something else. That's my point, and that's what the community wants. If
this happens so much, well, you'd think that people would stop doing it after a while if there's really a lot of disincentives for this. Yeah, how do you make that happen? Anyway, that's rhetorical. Gala Node guy, we both interrupted you. Go ahead.
So anyway, we got this little Nerd Node thing up in the upper right. Maybe we want to talk about Nerd Node. And speaking of Nerd Node, are we allowed to say that the thing that they're working on, or
no,
or are we not? Okay, so
something
you didn't hear that.
Well,
they're working on it. They're working on
something. Yeah. And they want to sell some nodes, and they got something going on. In fact, FazRadio premium members will actually have a benefit from this if you get into the Nerd Node stuff when it starts coming out.
And this is something that
FazRadio premium members are.
I'm gonna be like Gala for a minute. But I truly mean this because of the conversations that I've been privy to. You really aren't going to want to miss this one. This is going to be something that you're going to want to weigh in on very heavily from what we've heard, because we have seen that the Gala Collective and the MOF have delivered on everything that they've talked about. So keep that radar pinging. Ping that radar towards the Nerd Node revelation.
Okay.
So Nerd Node, I love Nerd Node. At the same time, they're going to quote unquote put me out of business because, if my channel is about teaching people how to run their nodes and everybody just decides, screw this, we don't want to run our nodes, we just want to let Nerd Node do it, then I'm losing all my subscribers because they don't care about nodes anymore. Nerd Node just takes care of it.
Nerd Nodes are going to be doing more than just running other people's nodes soon. So That's
I
coming.
thought we weren't. I thought we weren't allowed to talk about that.
I didn't say what. I didn't say what.
No more secret
Because right
rooms
now-
for Faz.
Right now, they will run your node for you. If you have a Gala node or it's a Bull node too, they'll run those.
Yeah, the what a myriad nodes or whatever.
Yeah, they'll run all kinds of them.
Do myriad nodes even exist? I mean, do they even do anything?
I have no idea. Probably not.
They're money printers still at the moment.
Most companies' nodes, including Gala's, don't really do anything. So there was even for a while there was even companies that were calling things nodes that weren't actually even nodes. They were just like NFTs. Like you didn't actually do anything. But they called it a node for.
I'm getting removed from group chat. I haven't said anything. Damn it. I'm my own best friend.
So I actually do want to talk a little bit more about music, and especially since we still have some music people in the chat here. So Gala Music, that's right now, they're the only Gala NFTs I'm actually still buying. I haven't bought any other Gala.
Why?
How many pennies do you get a day from that?
You know what? You want to know why I'm still buying them?
Yes, that was one of your big points that I was hoping you were going to get to. I'm glad we're getting to this point.
So first of all, I love music. I mean, I've been like crazy in music since I was a kid. I literally during the CD days, literally my friends would be like, "Oh, so what CDs have you bought today?" Because I would literally buy like new CDs like every single freaking day. I had a whole wall full of CDs. So I love music.
Yeah, what did that get you?
Nowhere. I couldn't even burn them all into.
So then Napster came along.
Yeah, I couldn't even burn them all into my iPod because it was just too much work. So anyway, so I love music. I think Gala Music has some great artists on it. I've found tons of new bands that I wouldn't have even discovered if it wasn't for Gala Music. At the same time, they've got some serious things to sort out, like, the music utility thing they're working on. But I mean, the big thing is like, so what is the, why would the average music listener listen to music on Gala Music? I mean, let's think about it for a second. And you guys have probably touched on this before.
Lycan went off on this one. So if you have Amazon Music or Spotify or Apple Music, why in the hell would you try and go to Gala Music where there's nothing there?
Why would you leave a service that has all your music and all your playlists to go listen to a handful of things on Gala Music? I mean, obviously we're not talking about us, we're kind of a different animal, but for the average music listener, especially like the Web2 music listener, why in the world would they do that? I mean, there's a really huge barrier to switching on that. I mean, I've been so ingrained into the Apple Music system that I won't even switch to my wife's Spotify. And we've been married for years and years and years. And I still won't switch to Spotify, and she won't switch from Spotify to Apple Music. We each have our own things that we're just ingrained in. And if I won't even switch, what's going to make these other people want to switch? And they really need and
you like them.
And if you really need a compelling reason for bringing new users in. And I don't think Gala Music has figured that out yet. So on the flip side, so why am I still buying tracks? First of all, because I like the music. It's hilarious. Gala Music did a survey a few months back. They're like, what are the main factors that you talk about when buying tracks? And it's like they had like little options, and nowhere in this is like, I think the track's going to make lots of money, or I want to support Gala Music, or whatever. In that entire choice, the list of choices, not one of them was the obvious choice, which is I actually like the music. Like literally none of the choices
Wow.
about it's like, okay, yeah, I guess this is all about just investment for people and not about music.
So 8-Bit brings up a great point here. Okay, the opportunity for Gala Music is catering to superfans and providing them with unique experiences and access to the artist. How important is that to people who maybe they have up and coming artists? Nobody's, and I'm sorry, this is not meant to sound disrespectful, but they haven't heard of these people before. These are new fledgling artists. Why would that be a big key factor towards Gala Music?
Well, it's not. And that's the problem. I mean, a lot of these things, even, I mean, the all access store has been like, promoted as the main draw of Gala Music. Oh, you need music token because you can buy experiences and things that you can't get anywhere else, right? And originally, they actually had some pretty amazing stuff for sale in the all access store. Stuff like, hanging it, actually getting to hang out with artists, go to these, huge music festivals and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they did all of that before they actually had the token, back when it was still beams. And nobody knew how much nobody knew how much a beam was worth. So nobody was buying this stuff because, they don't want to accidentally get into like a Bitcoin pizza situation, right? You don't want to end up paying, $8 million for something that you should have paid $10 for, right?
Right.
Hey, I know you guys would like to talk longer. How about I drop and you guys keep going? What do you think, Mr. Titan?
You do you, Faz.
All right. Yeah, I have some things going on. What's that?
I think that'll work because I think I'm probably closer in view to Faz than I am to Titan, which means that Titan and I can bounce off each other. So I can be like the pseudo Faz.
Okay.
Pseudo Faz.
Can you change your name there, your little moniker? I think I can change your moniker too. Here we go. Edit name and headline is the new Faz. There you go.
Anyway, Faz, thanks for having me on this, and have fun doing whatever you're doing. And Titan Titan and I will try not to go any longer than like 3.5, 4 hours.
Hey, take it as long as you want. I don't want to stop you guys. Actually, that's why I want to drop off rather than hurry you guys up.
Okay, bye, Faz.
Anyway, yeah. Oh, that willing to get rid of me so quickly. Like, get the hell out of here, Faz.
It's okay. Bye-bye. See you around like a donut.
All right. Yeah. Have fun. Take care of the shop. Don't let Titan get away with shit. Anyway, bye-bye.
I won't. All right. So I believe the question is, with all this stuff with Gala Music, why the heck am I still buying their NFTs, right? That's the question.
That was the original question we started with, yes.
Well, first of all, because I love music. Second of all, I have a really healthy relationship with risk and long-term time frames. Like, if I don't get the money back that I spend on NFTs, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine. Obviously I want to make the money, but it's not going to kill me if everything goes to zero. But the other thing is, though, that's actually more important than this is that, do the research, do the math, do the probabilities. There are actually stuff going on in Gala Music right now where you can actually ROI pretty quickly if you buy the right tracks. And so there's actually a lot of really good opportunities, and there was even more so with the whole legacy beams thing. But even now, the way Gala Music works is the plays for a certain track are split across all the NFT owners, right? So if there's 100 copies of that track, and they've all been sold and they're all on nodes, that song gets, X amount of plays and it's split 100 different ways, right? But if you get in a situation like right now where nobody's buying, suddenly if you're one of the if you buy a track and there's only 3 other people that own that track, suddenly something that would normally be split 100 different ways is now only being split 4 ways. So you can actually make money on
So
Gala
look,
Music.
again,
And
this is supposed to be
again,
about the artist and the fan experience and everything else. It's not about money. It shouldn't be about money, but it is. It always is.
yeah, I mean, I personally, I'm one of those rare people, other than maybe some of the legacy stuff where there were some opportunities that I just could not pass up. Personally, I look at the music first. Like, I don't buy tracks that I don't like. I don't buy music that I don't like, and sometimes that can hurt people. Like, there's some people in this room that I like some of their tracks and I don't like some of their tracks, and so I buy the ones I like and I don't buy the ones I don't like.
Well, but you have to put this in context too, right? Is a music track 99 cents?
Not anymore. It's $99.
It's $99. You're paying $100 for one song.
Which means
one song.
Which means I damn well better make some money for that.
But
I'm not
see,
this is $100 away, right?
Right, but that's my point, right? So it's about the money. It's not about liking an artist. It's not about liking the music. You can like the music and not pay $100 for one freaking song.
At the same time, it is, because if you like an artist, like especially like these up and coming artists, right? And you're like, hey, I really like, I don't know, let's just use an example. I really like Bronze Whale. They're this up and coming artist. I really like them. So I'm going to buy their tracks. And that a good chunk of that $100 is going towards the artist. I mean, the artists are really making, Gala Music, right? So Gala Music as a quote unquote company, Gala Music is making good money, but the artists are also making good money. They're making way more money than they would on Spotify or Apple. They actually get a pretty fair cut. And if one of the artists in here wants to disagree with me, please feel free to do so. But I think, it's a good deal for the artists. And if you're truly a fan of the artist and you're like, hey, I want to pay, $100 to help this artist take off and help them keep doing music and help them to be able to tour and to be able to do, music videos. It's like, I know you can't use the word, the I word, you're not investing, but you're kind of investing in the artist. In fact, the new CEO of Gala Music actually slipped up on an external podcast.
We broadcast that. We broadcast that on here. Yeah.
It actually said investing in an artist. It's like, oops. But
yeah,
so there's a note in here that says from 8-Bit Tendings that says Gala sets the prices, not us. And in case people don't know, 8-Bit Tendies is one of his other things. Is one of his other names is a Gala artist, Gala Music artist.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry if I outed anybody. I'm pretty sure that's common knowledge. So.
Right. So Nick's question. So then it becomes, does the artist actually give a shit? I won't use the other word because I don't want to be a potty mouth and put inappropriate content.
Yeah, we don't want to have a thing of a repeat of last week's episode where you try and watch it and YouTube's like, are you sure you want to watch this? It may be inappropriate. It's like, oh, dare I click yes?
So does the artist really care about listeners charging that much, especially if no one knows that you're a Web3 music site? Well, first of all, they're sort of Web3. They're Web 2 with a tiny little smidge of component of Web 3. They're trying, and I will give them that. They are trying to make it decentralized. They just can't let go of the control. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And I agree with you 1,000% that the artists, especially the up and comers, will do far better monetarily and exposure wise on the Gala Music platform than signing with Columbia Records, right?
Right.
I have no arguments there whatsoever. What really chaps me though is you have two sides to this, right? You have the initial side, and then you have above that the long-term side. And short-term, they're going to make more money and they're going to get that exposure. But then long-term, I don't think Gala Music has the ability or the forethought on how they're going to handle that for the artist. If some of these artists, and I'm not going to name one, call one out by name, but we'll say this is maybe pretty shocking. If that artist were to go big time, do you think that they're going to remain with Gala Music if they actually catch on? Or do you think that they're either going to A, branch off on their own and do self-publishing, or B, find a way to get with a bigger music entity that can take them that further step?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is a lot of people kind of forget, that, well, we're going to, be totally independent and go with Gala Music as opposed to getting signed to a record label, right? You kind of forget that a record label gives you, I mean, they're kind of messed up, whatever, but you get more stuff with a record label. The record label, you get a studio, you get a producer, you get, at least some level of promotion, not very much, but at least some. And, Gala's not doing any of that. It's just like, hey, you already have to have a song and all done and in the bag, and you can sell it on our site. So,
and that's what I worry about for a lot of these artists is, let's say Gala Music makes them famous. Even if they get to that point, they have, from what I've seen, no support for that long term. How do you grow past the initial get your name out there? And could that artist make more money by doing something differently at some point? That is where I think the ceiling on this is you get famous with Gala Music, but then you're capped, you're limited as to how far you can go. Because I haven't seen anything for a long-term plan on this. We have certain individuals, and I won't call them out by name, but they have very special side projects, and they've done special side projects in other countries where they put on a festival or something like that helps bring this artist out into the open.
Right.
I can't see them wanting to stay with Gala Music past that initial get recognized phase.
Yeah, I mean, especially as it gets
I just don't see it.
Especially as it gets to be more and more and more and more artists, which obviously Gala needs, because they can't do anything with just a couple hundred artists. You need thousands, if not millions. How are they going to support all of those artists? They're not even supporting the artists they have now. I mean, I've talked to a lot of different artists, and most of them are frustrated with Gala Music, just like all of us have been frustrated with Gala Music and frustrated with Gala ever since, 3 or 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess. And, I think a lot of like I was talking to like 2 or 3 different artists the other day about the All Access store. And they were basically saying, Gala makes us pay for these things that are in the All Access store, and we're not getting, in some cases we're getting reimbursed, and in some cases we're not, and they just don't have the support that they really need to do the things that will really make Gala music take off. So yeah, and okay, yeah, you need to bring up some of these things that 8-bit attendees is
No, I am. I
about.
just noticed them. I saw it scrolling on the right side of my screen there.
Yeah, and
So
also the one right before it that starts with, it wasn't till.
yeah, let me pop that one up. So again, like there was not too long ago, and I'm terrible with time. We all know this. You've been here. A lot of you have been here for all 3 years that we've been broadcasting. I'm terrible with time. So I'm going to say like last fall, and I'm probably wrong. Lava went out and did a huge music festival, right? And a lot of the very, very large faces of the Gala music community, Satoshi Siren and a few of the others, and Lava, real big in that, went out and created this music festival, and it was a huge success. And I want to know what happened with all that. Meaning, you had this huge success. What did Gala Music do to support that, to help that, to reimburse that, to take what was provided by a third-party source with Lava Entertainment and turn that into something awesome? Did they do anything? I'm asking. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a smartass.
I don't know. I actually have not talked directly with Lava. I've talked to a lot of, but based on what I've heard from a lot of other artists, I kind of doubt it. I mean, a lot of artists are basically saying that they're just not getting the support that they need, and a lot of the, especially a lot of the kind of the OG small artists on Gala Music, like, that were there from the beginning or close to the beginning, and they're just really frustrated because they see that the quote unquote support that they're getting from Gala is less and less and less over time, and they're getting really kind of frustrated with that.
So before I go into my next comment, I'm gonna tag this to Faz. When Faz was on the show, our live viewership numbers were at a certain number, and they've almost doubled since he left the show. So I will note that here. But
I think my subscriber numbers on my channel might be higher than yours. So I'm going to take all the credit, really.
Right. So 8-bit brings up a point here. I think a lot of the problems with Gala Music is due to high churn rate. Every few months, I have a new point of contact who needs to be caught up. This was brought out in games. This was a huge thing in games, and with wiping out the Miranda's team and everything else. I haven't heard this. This is the first I've heard of this on the Gala Music side. I own a Gala Music Node, okay, but I have not followed music hardly at all. I would catch bits and pieces when someone would bring it up, but I'd catch up and say, oh yeah, nothing's happening.
Do you actually have tracks on your node?
I do. All my tracks are filled. I did when Gala Music Nodes first came out. I bought a lot of tracks, and I bought a node, and I filled it up, and it's just running, and nothing has happened with that. But every few months, I have a new point of contact. That's a huge problem, right? The turnover is a huge problem. Now, finding out why that turnover is happening is a good indicator of where Gala Music sits. So if there are people who can educate the customers of Gala Music on why that's happening, that would be a great discussion in itself.
Well, I think, to be fair, other companies have high turnover rates. The high turnover is not necessarily an indication of a problem. Obviously it could be, but I think the bigger problem with Gala Music and Gala in general is just like not just communication with us, but communication within the company itself. It's like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing.
Well, that's obvious.
I mean, so much stuff. But I mean, even like within Gala Music, right?
Right.
Yeah, Gala Music launched this thing this week where like you could start actually getting additional music tokens for listening to tracks on the platform. And they said, in order to do this, to increase the visibility of Gala Music and to fight against bots, you could only earn if you had at least one music token in your ETH wallet. Right, so people would have one music token in their ETH wallet, and then they're able to earn on this new listen to earn thing, right? So a couple of days later, suddenly people were clicking on this thing to try and collect their earnings, and it said, "Oh, we're sorry, you can't earn. You need 1,000 music tokens in your Ethereum wallet." So it went from 1 to 1,000 literally overnight. And here's the bad part. There was no announcement.
Of course not.
People were bugging them all day. And no offense to Taco. I mean, Taco's great, but he didn't even know about this. He didn't even know that they had done this. He was traveling and blah, 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 blah. But like half the time, Taco doesn't even, he's supposed to be the face of Gala Music, and he doesn't know what's going on the dev side. And it's like they're making changes and nobody's communicating with each other.
I'm taking a screenshot right now. Hang on. We're gonna because this is good stuff. And I moved my thing. All right, so this isn't working. Let me just tell you what it is.
One of these days you'll learn how to use tech.
No, I've got it, but it's all right. So I bought a Music Node the day they came out, which was 2 years ago, right?
Right.
I bought a ton of music and put it on there.
And now
I've been running. I've run the node every day for the past 2 years. My Gala Chain music tokens, I have 1,449 tokens.
1,400?
Yes. That's what I've earned. That's what I've earned in 2 years, having every node slot filled.
Damn. That's insane.
All right. What is music token going for these days?
Like, I don't know, 7 cents maybe, something like that.
All right.
So let's look it up.
So 1,449 times 0.07. I've earned $101.43 in the last 2 years with Gala Music. Okay.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
I spent $5,000 on a node, and I bought, I think there's 12 tracks in a node, and those were like $100 a piece. So I'm in this for about $6,500, and I've made $101 since this started. Now, again, we're talking pure money there. Now, did that help the artists? I hope so, because I don't know if they received money for, a share of rev from the node sales. I have no idea. I don't know how much revenue of the tracks I bought went to any of the artists that are on there. But what I can tell you is that from a financial standpoint, I'm way, way, way in the red with this.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Again, I made the decision to buy it, and I'm not going to complain about that. But what I'm doing is talking about the reality of this. And when you're saying I'm spending $100 per track today, I find that ridiculously insane.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't believe me if I said that I've ROI'd on some of those tracks already in less than a couple of months.
I'll bet you have, but again, there's the hook, right? There's where they sink the hooks into you, because if you don't buy new tracks, you don't get the big earnings.
Yeah.
I haven't bought any tracks since my original purchase.
Well, see, that's the other problem is like, the original purchase, we're talking about the like the Snoop boxes and stuff like that, where they were like $5,000 or something ridiculous.
I bought those too.
But
I didn't even factor that one in.
And then, each track had like, 800 gazillion copies of it, as opposed to, a normal track that now has 100. So you're splitting that Snoop listen with 800,000 other people,
right?
And you're not getting very much. So Punjab, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. He has a question here about what kind of tracks are you hosting? So if you want to bring that up, and I think that's kind of important.
All right, hang on. I was still trying to get that screenshot. Let me come back to this other window.
Oh,
all right.
8-bit Tendy says your problem is that you're not hosting any Bobby Millett tracks.
I put that up a few minutes ago. That was good.
You know what though? Some of those Bobby Millett tracks have done really well. Even like some of the early ones, they're still making some pretty good money.
Listen,
so, yeah, I think you've done a really good job of making out pretty well on these,
So I do, as I bitch, moan, whine, and complain here about all the stupidity that Gala Music and Gala themselves do, I truly do support these artists because they're trying to put their music out. And of the artists that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of them, I follow Twitter, right? So I see a lot of them there. These are genuinely passionate people about their music. This isn't people who are doing this as a job. This isn't people who are doing this because they think that this is something that's going to make them a ton of money. They're truly passionate about their music. And I love that. And I support that 1,000%. However, people who are supporting them, whether it's by buying tracks or getting experiences with them or whatever, there's going to be a point. There's that tipping point, right? The marketing tipping point where it's going to outweigh the ability to continue to support them. If I want to support somebody, I will support people like Lava, like 8-bit Tendies, like a lot of these other people, 100% in what they're doing. And if I can contribute to some of their success, either financially or by anything else, working on a website or whatever the case may be, I'm happy to do it. But there's only so much that I can do. And that's where I was talking earlier about that ceiling. You're going to hit that ceiling, and that's going to be it, where I have to say, look, I've put, $22,000 or whatever the case may be into the Gala Music platform to support the people and the artists and everything else. And I've earned $101 in 2 years. I'm sorry, I can't keep doing this.
How much did you earn off your Echo of Empires planets?
So listen, I never bought any planets. Now, Faz went off the charts with planets. He bought like 10 planets, right?
Oh man.
And he let me borrow 2 of them to go play the game. And I didn't earn shit when I was using them to play the game. But the point is that there's a limit to where you hit it. And I think that that's where Gala Music is struggling the most, and what they need to solve to keep artists in this platform, to attract new artists, to keep the artists that they have to come up with that long-term plan, because people like me, I haven't, and this is where this all came from, is somebody posted in CFA not long ago, I stopped buying, 6 months ago or whatever. So I went to the blockchain and I pulled up my address. It has been like 657 days since I bought anything from Gala.
Oh, wow.
I was a fanboy for the first year and a half. I really was. And
yeah.
then I saw the reality of it all, and it started sinking in, and I'm like, this isn't working out so well. So, that's what I'm saying. I want to support them,
Right.
but I can't anymore. I just can't do it.
Well,
And there's a lot of people that are probably in this situation that I'm in. We want to give to this. If Lava does another event, right, where he goes to Puerto Rico and brings a bunch of people in and a lot of these artists, I will happily, if he sells NFTs for that, for commemoratives or whatever, and wants $100 for them, I will fucking buy it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
But I will not continue to buy $100 tracks and support Gala Music when I'm not getting anything back for that. Not even a thank you. Nobody's even said thank you to me.
Yeah. I mean, I have a bit of a different viewpoint than that, but I can totally understand that. Oh yeah, let's talk about what 8-Bit Teddy says here. Is that the earning is gamified, so you may not make money if you only buy tracks that you like, which sucks. You shouldn't have to host music you don't like to earn a decent amount of rewards. And yeah, and this is totally true. Especially with that ridiculous thing where, they came up with this whole thing about, you can only host 10 tracks on your nodes, with just total BS. You should be able to host like hundreds, if not thousands of tracks on your nodes, not just 10. And you certainly shouldn't have to pay to host, pay more to host 11 tracks or whatever. Oh, sorry, slightly off topic. Gala finally, after months and months and months and months and months, Gala Music finally delivered on their promise like 2 days ago that people who hold BT orbs would get an additional track slot on their node for each BT orb. So finally, it's like the first actual real orb functionality that Gala's actually delivered.
That's really good to hear, because people spent thousands of dollars on those orbs. So I really hope that they're able to do something with them. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's back up. So first of all, orbs are freaking awesome. Like, even if they didn't have any quote unquote utility whatsoever, orbs are like the coolest NFTs ever. I mean, prove me wrong. I mean, what are other NFTs? Okay, so you've got stupid JPEGs of monkeys that don't do anything, right? So is that a cool NFT? No, not really. You've got NFTs that are, for a game that may or may not exist in the future and may or may not actually earn. So is that, that's better than a JPEG, right? But these orbs, I mean, these things are freaking amazing. I mean, have all that work with it actually, generating in real time based on data on the blockchain, a continuous, musical and visual thing. I mean, that's just amazing in and of itself.
So
the problem isn't the orbs. The problem is Gala overpromising, because they made it sound like orbs are going to be in every single game, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and then they didn't do any of it. And meanwhile, poor BT is left holding the bag. Everybody's beating up on BT, saying all this functionality for orbs isn't there, and he's like, I'm trying to implement this, but Gala's not playing ball. So it's sad. Anyway,
So I wanted to bring up a very good point on that, because you touched on something that's very passionate to me, right? So one of the things with these BT orbs, you said, well, what do people want from this? Here's what I want. If those BT orbs gave you the right to use the music however you see fit when you own that NFT, that is worth $3,000 or $4,000, whatever people paid, right? And I'm going to present my screen here. Screen share. I don't even know what the hell tab I'm in. There it is. This is one of my accounts, okay? And I'm not sharing yet. I have to
No, you're not.
the bouton. There it is, right?
Okay.
So we're on OpenSea here.
I don't see no orbs.
No, but I have a bunch of Snoop stuff here, right? Snoop sold music, okay, through this right here, which is the passport.
Mm-hmm.
You bought a passport, and it was $50 to buy a passport, and this was directly from Snoop. This had nothing to do with Gala.
Right.
You bought a passport, and all this stuff in here that you see came from that $50 membership airdrop to me.
Right.
I can take any of these songs that he has. These are all my other things. I can do whatever I want with that music. I can mix it. I can remix it. I can use it commercially. And then down here, I have Pudgy Pangolins, right? And I have Clay Pets. The guy who created Veggie Tales and some other big things like Eternal Clays is Doug TenNapel. And Doug is a buddy of ours, and he created a whole slew of clay creations like you see here. Okay.
Wow. I had no idea that he was involved in that. I don't follow.
Well, he's not. Yeah. So he's done a lot of these projects, right? He's done a lot of these projects, but one of these NFTs, Doug created a series of NFTs that had music in them. And he granted in that NFT total license to the image, to the music, to everything. So the music that you hear when FazRadio starts, that awesome beat, is
Right.
one of the NFTs that Faz bought from Doug.
Oh, wow.
And he can use that music however he chooses. He chooses to use it with FazRadio as our intro and our exit. So there is, this is what I want to see. This is what I envision a music NFT being. Is
Right.
I can take this song and I can do whatever the hell I want to do with it. You know how much I paid for that song?
Probably not very much.
$11. $11.
Wow.
And I bought 4 of them, as you can see. But
Yeah.
okay, it's worth 0.01 ETH right now. So if we pull this up, right now there's no offers, no anything, but 0.01 ETH. I bought it for 0.0042 ETH. Okay. And I can do whatever I want with that song, and Snoop's not going to come and take me to court and beat me up or do anything with that. That's where I want music NFTs to go. That's what I would hope, and what I did hope that Gala Music would do for their artists is take it to that level and charge, like Snoop does, a reasonable amount of money for a song. To me, $11 is a lot for a song, but I still thought, oh, geez, that's actually reasonable if I can do whatever I want to do with it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to pay $100 to Gala Music for something I can't use. I have no license for. All I can do is listen to it for $100.
Yeah, and you can listen to it for free, so you don't even need to spend your $100. But yeah, but at the same time, I don't know about you, but I've looked at some other music NFT sites, and quite honestly, is Gala Music has its problems, but they also have a lot of potential. But
They do.
a lot of the other music NFT projects are worse. Like, I looked into a bunch of different projects, and most of them I didn't like at all. There was one that I actually decided that I would try and buy like one NFT from it. And they were actually giving you like the purchasing the NFT would actually give you a cut of the actual royalties of the song. The
Right.
problem was the cut was infinitesimally small. Like it was one of those things where it's like, okay, the producers and the writers and the record companies and stuff all take their cut, and then after the little crumbs that are left, this NFT project bought a few of those crumbs and are now distributing those crumbs across 120 people or whatever. So you're paying these ridiculous amounts for these tracks, and you're getting like every 6 months you're getting like $2 or something.
It's that's better than the $101 over 2 years that I've gotten back from Gala Music.
Yeah, but a lot of people have done a lot better than that.
I hope they do. I really hope they do. Everybody rolls their eyes when I talk about. I've been on here for 3 years, but 2 of the 3 years, I've been passionately pushing for people to get what they deserve from the platform that they put their money into. And they roll their eyes and say, "Oh yeah, you're really doing this for the community." I am, because I've been on the other side of that. I've gotten hosed on a lot of things in my past, and I've talked about it here ad nauseum on FazRadio about how I've gotten screwed many times in the past, and I know what it feels like. So yes, I am fighting for the people who are out there trying to make a buck or trying to jump onto something cool or ride some coattails, with other people into success or money or whatever. I'm all about that. And that's why I'm so passionate and why I motherfuck people left and right when they do other people dirty, because I don't think that's the right thing to do. Just make them right. If you fuck up, that's okay. Everybody screws up, right? Everybody makes promises that maybe they can't fulfill down the road, but then make it right for them. And if you can't do it with sending them, their $10,000 back or whatever, then in my opinion, you owe them $10,000 worth of value somewhere else that you should be giving them.
Yeah,
that's where I come from.
Yeah. So how is Gala going to deliver $350,000 worth of fun, for that legendary Tesla coil? And what's scary is they actually probably could do it, or could have done it. In fact,
they could.
Suddenly
but
that legendary Tesla coil was also some, super high-end Brandis NFT as well, and it was also a laser cannon in Echoes of Empire or whatever. They could have done all that stuff, and you could get fun. You could get a lot of fun out of an expensive NFT, but it's just, I don't know. Anyway,
they won't do it. They won't do it because that's not a new sale for them. They have to they're a business, right? We know they're a business, and businesses need to bring new revenue in. That's what they're concerned with, is new revenue. They don't care about old revenue.
But they could do it without.
They should, right? And they could
do it without having to. Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I think I feel about Gala like the same way a lot of people do. A lot of people that are still involved with Gala. I know a lot of people aren't. But for the people that are still involved with Gala, I think it's kind of despite all this, I still love Gala, but it's really starting to feel like an abusive relationship. Like you're stuck in an abusive relationship, and it's like, oh, well, Gala will do better next time. You'll see. And they're getting better. Wait until that next game is gonna do it. Oh, wait until Miranda's is gonna be awesome, and it'll make up for all their past sins. or whatever, right? And then it's like, and I mean, to continue that, it's like, well, I mean, I can't just leave Gala. I mean, where would I go? And even if I could leave, I can't because, they have all my money.
It's
how am I
the
going to survive
gambler's
someplace else,
fallacy.
Right?
The gambler's fallacy, right? I spent, I put $1,000 on red on the roulette wheel 9 times and lost it all. But this 10th one, I'm going to put $10,000 on it, and it'll fall black this time, and I'll make all that money back plus some. And everything is the new thing. It's the new thing.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And that's why it's been 659 days or whatever it was since I bought anything from the Gala store, because I realized at that point, the last thing I bought was the film pass. That was the last thing I bought. And that has not turned into anything yet. They had one, you could redeem it for a razor.
Film's still
a razor
just
thing.
I mean, come on. They've been out for 2 weeks. So, there's still some room to grow there. Oh, if you actually watched Razor.
No, I haven't.
It's really
I'm not a
good.
TV guy. I'm not a TV guy.
You would. I'm not either. But Razor is actually a really awesome show. I mean,
I will admit
they couldn't have picked a better show to launch film with.
I did watch the trailer for it, and it didn't excite me. I can tell you that.
Well, it's not for everybody. So going back to what you were saying earlier about wanting to support, artists and stuff, I think that's probably another really big reason that I'm still, buying tracks on Gala Music is unlike all these other things that basically are just, all the money going to Gala, a good chunk of this money is going to the artists. And, and for the most part, I only buy music that I like, and I want to support these artists. And, if Gala gets their cut, that's fine. But, I'm still being able to support the artists because, like I said, ultimately, I just love music. Obviously I want to make some money off of $100 track. I don't want to just throw that away. But if I can help an artist out in the process, I mean, great. I'd love to help artists. I'd love to be able to invest in emerging artists, so to speak. I mean,
that's great.
They deserve it, right?
No, I totally agree with you. But that's why I was saying earlier too, the stuff like that Lava put together and all that kind of stuff, I would rather spend, and again, no disrespect intended when I say it this way, it's just reality. I would rather spend $100 on an NFT that wasn't worth $100 on something to support a music festival like that for the artists, rather than spend $100 on a track on Gala Music, because the artist is going to see a lot more of that money. They're also going to get a lot more exposure for something like that. The independent route, people like Billie Eilish and everything else, they did it on their own. There's a handful in today's day and age. Why don't people make their own NFTs? Well, Faz argued back to me at one point, well, Gala does put together the marketing, they put together this, which helps them. And yes, you have to pay for that. I get that. But Lava can do it for them for a lot less. And other people, smaller independent companies or even self-publishing can do it for a lot less. I would rather support something like that than a large, obviously centralized big company who's not going to go anywhere and that has a ceiling like that.
Well, you know what I think would be really interesting, since you're really using Lava as an example, right? I think it'd be really good to
what he did. I
think it'd be really good to actually talk to Lava and be like, hey, how has Gala Music worked for you? You know, has Gala Music been a boost to you? Would you do better off if you just, you know, went on your own and with all your artists? You know, I'd be curious to hear that. I don't know if he would share that or not, but I think that would be it'd be good
Well,
to, you know, to hear not just from the artist, but from a, you know, bigger producer type person like Lava, who has, you know, multiple artists working with
you
him.
know,
You know?
eventually that gets to a point where it turns into a large conglomerate that ends up taking advantage of it too. Not to
Yeah,
say
exactly.
that, you know,
We'll have
not to say that Lava would do that, but I'm just
right,
saying, you know, what he's doing is out of passion and love, and there is absolutely zero doubt about that in my mind, because I've watched the interviews, I've watched the footage that they posted from that, where all those artists were in that really small room, and for hours they just riffed off each other and tried to make each other better, and you're listening to the banter back and forth. Hey, this is how you can improve this, and you can do this a little bit better here. That's the kind of stuff, that's the support for these small artists that they need, they should want, and that they should get. And I'm not sure they're getting that on any of these other platforms. Even Audius, right? Audius was huge. They were the first real big NFT music creator. And they're struggling a little bit. They've got a couple of, like, I would say bigger names, but they have like Skrillex and a couple of older kind of past due people on their platform. But they're doing things a little bit differently, and it is making a difference. There's still new artists coming out on there as well.
Yeah. Well, we're at like 2 hours, and I could talk for another, you know, 20 hours, but I think we
Right?
should probably I think we should probably wrap it up.
I'm
You
the
know,
same way. I could go for 4, but we'll call it and wrap it 2 here.
yeah, this was great. I don't know about you, but I had a lot of fun, and I hope the audience had a lot of fun too, because
I think they
that's the
did.
important part.
And we know that your last name is Guide and your first name is Gala Node. So,
Yeah,
Mr.
exactly.
Guide, we would love to have you back at some point to catch us up on a lot of this stuff. And as always, there's an open invitation to anybody, which is how Gala Node Guide found us and said, "Hey, can I contribute to the show in any way?" And so here we are today. If any of you want to come on the show and talk about your perspective on things, we're always here to support that and to promote it. And we want to make this a space for everybody to succeed, whatever it is that you're doing. As Faz said earlier, we want to take all the people who are actually doing things and putting things out, and we want to bring that to this platform. My stuff, and especially for Zorro, he's probably either playing a game at this point or asleep, one of the two. We heard that he wanted to play a game, and we heard it was past his bedtime. But for Zorro especially, because he was my first supporter, I've got unleashreality.io, which is out there already, and there's things that you can do on that platform. I'm almost done with my podcast platform on that side. It's just taking way longer than I thought. But we're all building things, and we all need to support each other in what we're building that's actually putting things out there for people to consume and people to get engaged with and to grow and learn and participate in and become better people with. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
Mr. Guide, you have done that for these people tonight. You have brought something to people tonight that they would have never gotten if you hadn't been here. So thank you for being a guest on this show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a blast, and I'd love to do it again sometime.
Awesome. Zorro fell asleep playing Helldivers. Don't doubt that.
I think if I remember correctly, Zorro was one of the early people on my channel as well, way back in the day.
Zorro is the bomb. Let me tell you, he's been a fantastic fan and friend of FazRadio since day one. He's supported a lot of different things. Thank you, my dear. And he is an incredible human being outside of platforms and podcasts and everything. He's a terrific human being, and that's what I love about this space is, as horribly as we talk about some of these other projects and other people and these rug pullers and the whole 9 yards, I've met more truly amazing people from this experience than anywhere else in my entire life.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it may not be all about the community to Gala, the company, but for us, it's all about the community. I mean, this is an awesome community. I mean, I know the majority of the people that are in the comments section. Unfortunately, they don't. Some of them may not know me because I have multiple personalities. I don't go by Gala Node Guide in Discord, so and I like to keep those personas separate for reasons, privacy and whatnot. But anyway, hi to the people that I know that may not know that they know me. And if you want to talk to quote unquote Gala Node Guide, come by my channel and we can talk there.
So absolutely. That's what I wanted to finish with. Where can people find you outside of the FazRadio show that we just did? Do you have channels? Do you have Twitter? Do you have anything else that you can put out to people? I put your YouTube channel already in the show notes. I did that when you guys were yipping back and forth when I couldn't get a word in edgewise early in the show. But where else can people find you?
Nowhere. Seriously. The Gala Node Guide is just on YouTube, and that's it. I don't have any other profiles. Oh, he's gone. Titan is gone. It's all about me now. Yay! Woohoo! Oh, seriously? Am I really the only one here?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I got a nice thing that says no signal.
No, right. That's Elgato, which is my camera. My camera ran out of battery.
Well,
because we've been on this for so long.
That's it. Show's over.
Right.
But seriously, even though I have this YouTube channel, I actually really hate social media. Like I don't like none of my quote unquote personalities or identities has much of anything on social media. It's just YouTube and Discord, and that's it. So yeah, if you want to find a Gala Node Guide, it's on Discord. And for those of you who know that Gala Node Guide is only on YouTube, and I have another name on Discord that some people know and some people don't. And like I said, I'd like to keep those two things separate. But anyway,
not a problem. But this has been an excellent show. Thanks again for coming by. For all those who made it, all 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 29 seconds, we love you. We appreciate you. And thanks for taking the time out of your Friday night to visit with us. We'll be back next Friday with another exciting show. We have some, as Faz alluded to at the very beginning of this, we have some very exciting guests coming up in the future. Follow Zipbug's channel, follow Unleash Reality, follow Gala Node Guide, and let's make sure that we support each other the best we possibly can moving forward. We all want to be successful. We all want to learn things. We all want to become part of something greater than ourselves. Let's band together and make it happen.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.